Are you ready?
Agility from the champion. Oh, deep six! That could be it. Delivers this deep six.
Hello, everybody. This is episode 156. Coming off the heels of a great wrestling weekend that we had, but obviously, as you can see, I am not alone. I am joined by the one and only Brendan, aka Bash. Brandon, how you doing today?
Doing good. As I said prior, I'm very tired. I worked 9 days straight, and then my 2 days off was going to a concert and then working an MMA event. So yeah, I'm exhausted. I called out of work yesterday. I just couldn't get up. I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna lay here.
Dang. I hear you, man. The weekend was kind of packed. Um, Worked half the weekend, the other I just chilled. And today was a long day. I had work and then golf lesson, and But listen, tomorrow is Hump Day. We are halfway through the week, so that I'm excited about. But we're coming off the heels of such a really good wrestling weekend. Let me tell you, what a weekend that we had. But Brandon, how about your Knicks, man?
One more time, you kind of glitched out there.
How about your Knicks?
Oh yes, sir. Knicks versus Spurs after Spurs go 7 with the defending champs and take it in 7. Knicks and Danhausen have now they got some work against an alien in Wembenyama, but we will see how the Knicks do
I don't
tomorrow.
know if you've seen the video online. After the first two games of when the Knicks beat the Cavaliers, all the fans are yelling, "We want Wemby." Let me ask you: do you guys really want Wemby, a 7'5" tall guy, working around the paint, waiting to reject some layups?
The real thing is that the last few times the Knicks have played against the Spurs, they've had an answer against the Spurs. So I feel like that's why a lot more people have felt that way. We haven't really been able to beat the Thunder. So I see why, and I think also just we want Wemby is just a good solid chant. We'll see that a lot of times in WWE where just a good chant works. But yeah, I feel like I I think Cat and Mitch are going to be able to kind of slow Wemby down when they're both out there. If you're able to play with both of them out there and just box him in, you're going to force him to shoot threes. And yes, he's a decent shooter from there, but is he going to hit all that? No. So yeah, Brunson has cooked the Spurs. So I don't know. I like Knicks in 6 because it rhymes. That's what I always say. Doesn't matter what series, just Knicks in 6 because it rhymes. But I
Yeah,
do actually like it this time
this
around.
would be wild if the Knicks win the finals. This would be a first time in my lifetime, and in most millennials' lifetime. Well, all millennials' lifetime, and some Gen Xers too.
Yeah, what was it? 70? I think it was 73.
1972 was the last time the Knicks
Yeah,
won the finals.
insane.
That's and New York teams should be all the New York teams should really be embarrassed of themselves. I mean, how does a New York marketing go so long, let alone 50 years, winning without winning a title? Come on, Islanders, Rangers, 30 years, Islanders 40 years, Yankees are gonna be pushing 20 years soon, and that's mind blowing. The Mets are 40 years. Buffalo Bills never, Buffalo Sabres never, New Jersey Devils probably like 20, 30 years. It's crazy how the New York market really sucks in sports. I'm not gonna lie, but
Yeah, it is kind of surprising. I mean, the Yankees have had a
yeah,
few decent pushes. Uh, Obviously, Rangers' last good push was 2015, and then
yeah,
I believe 2025 they did okay.
yeah.
Other than that, yeah, it really hasn't. The Mets haven't been anything since 2000 or 2015. Yeah, a lot of it's been 2015. That's the last time I can remember everyone doing decent.
Crazy, crazy. Well, anyway, listen, we are here to talk wrestling. Those of you guys that are watching, make sure you guys subscribe to the video, help us out, share this. We want you guys to leave comments because we want to hear what you guys thought about this awesome wrestling weekend that we just had. We're going to jump right in. We have to jump right in because it is not even halfway through the year yet. And we saw, arguably, what is more than likely going to be to date is the match of the year, but more than likely will be the match of the year when everything is all said and done in 2026. And what I'm talking about, really quick, Grande versus Grande at AAA on Saturday night. My goodness, what did we just witness? Now, I'm sure you've at minimum seen the clips, but probably seen the match already. What were your thoughts on this? Like, from whatever you saw of it, because I didn't ask you if you've seen the match yet, but what are your thoughts on what you've seen and what you
My
know about this match?
It's funny. My plan is to watch fully uh, after the show because last night I was able to watch Raw, but I started at like 10:30 or so. And of course, it was in Italy, so it was out at 2. But I was out, so I fell asleep watching the Seth versus Bron match. So I was like, oh, they're going to have an exclusive showing. Great. I'll be able to watch. And of course, I knocked out and then I had to go to work. So I haven't had time to watch it yet. I did see clips. I saw who won. So I guess we'll call him Ludwig Grande. I don't know what to call him anymore. I'm sorry. But the real Grande Americano won in the eyes of Corey Grave. So yeah, that was a. This was actually, I'd say, one of the first few times I've seen blood in like a luchador mask, or like I guess outside of the mask. Like I'm thinking,
It told a story. It told a good story because they had partially ripped the masks open during the match.
right?
Each guy had an opportunity to try to rip the mask off, um, which in turn would reveal the fact that they were bleeding. But Gable was a bloody mess.
Yes, and
And you don't see this too much on a WWE stage either.
what's that?
Like blood, like we saw, you don't see that much on a WWE platform, like in the way that we saw it on Saturday night.
That's what I'm saying. Like, obviously, there's been, at least thinking back of other than Ray, you've had Sakara, now you've had, Dragon Lee, obviously Penta. Like, the only time I remember really Ray with blood was the stupid eye thing, and that was COVID time. Don't even talk about that. And then when Great Khali squished and it like came out down through his mouth and nose, but not really from like top of his head. So normally those are pretty good at like protecting that and like hiding that. So it was definitely cool to see that whole visual of all, like I said, just blood across. Both guys a bloody mess, ripped up top here for Ludwig and then ripped on the side here. That was, I mean, I can't, just watching the 2 3 minutes highlights I was able to, insane. But to watch this full, what, probably 30-minute match, crazy.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like it felt like a 45-minute match, more like. I don't even think 30 was really it. I think it was more like
Wow.
45. Like it was up there with entrances. It was close to an hour. But let me tell you, like the brutality, we saw a different side of Chad Gable that we have never seen before. Like we got dark Gable. There was nothing comical about Gable here. He was serious, he was dark, he was sinister under that mask.
Hmm.
He played that heel so well to the point where he had me bought into root for Ludwig Kaiser Americano. And the storytelling was done so well. As some of you guys may or may not know, El Grande Americano was seen as the face in Mexico, and Chad Gable Americano was basically playing the heel, and then when on US TV on Raw, it was kind of the other way around. Gable Americano was kind of like the face, and El Grande Americano, Ludwig Kaiser, was the kind of like the heel. So roles kind of switched in Mexico. The fans were so over. Were He was just so over. The fans were solely behind El Grande, Ludwig Kaiser. That is, despite anything that may have been going on in his personal life, this was actually definitely what's more than likely going to be the match of the year. But just the style, the brutality, the storytelling. By the way, I found out today that this was produced by Pete Dunne. Of course, Undertaker's booking this, but this match was produced by Pete Dunne. So
Wow.
let me ask you this. We saw such a good match, good storytelling. We saw blood. We saw the drama. Where is the disconnect that we're not seeing something like this on the main roster, even with the blood?
I think, well, obviously for SmackDown, it's still on TV. And I guess, I, I don't know. I honestly have no answer because I've been watching AEW the last couple of weeks, and my God, it's just a regular show is crazy. Let alone the last few pay-per-views. Every match, I don't know how they keep the ring clean. Like I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, so people were saying, "Oh, it's TKO." Hello, TKO owns AAA, so we can't use the TKO excuse
Right.
of as to why we're not getting this level of.
TKO owns UFC, and me and my friend literally made a joke. Sorry, while somebody runs through on their bike going 100. Um, but me and my friend made a joke watching the UFC one night. Somebody had gotten open so bad, like crossed their head, that they just, whenever they got taken down, they bled all across in one area. For the rest of the night, we called that the murder corner. And it was so bad that I am thinking if TKO owns UFC and WWE, why can't you allow those blood matches? Are you trying to help the kids watching from it? Or you try like what are we trying to do here when the other, like I said, the other competition technically is all about blood? So yeah, I don't know. I think it's time for WWE to add a little brutality.
This match, just because of the way and how everything was all booked in, like this match felt special due to the fact of everything, the drama, the blood, the brutality, the storytelling. They took us on a roller coaster ride. The tease finishes. Like this match was a 5. If we're gonna do the Rivera scale, the Rivera rating, it was a 500%, and more than likely it's going to be match of the year by the time this is all said and done. We don't get matches like this that often on the WWE platform.
Yeah.
So because we got the match that we did in the way that we did, it felt really special. And just think, we were never supposed to get this match. If you go back a year ago, Chad Gable as Americano announced that he was going to be going away for a little bit, or I believe, in a backstage promo, Ludwig Kaiser, the last time he's been seen as Ludwig Kaiser on TV was kind of like in the background, like overhearing us and like listening, like, And then he comes out the week later. That's how Grande Americano, and that's how it all started. This was never supposed to blow up into the way that it did, but it did, and man, were the fans blessed.
And then to get Ryo and Bravo, which now to even put a whole nother layer on top is I don't know which one is Pete Dunne, but one of the two.
I think it's Ryo.
Okay, so now Ryo is the producer of that match and just ties the whole thing in, and that is really cool. Because not to say that, like, I mean, Pete Dunne is a very good wrestler. I don't know his age, and he could still have a long
He's
time.
still in his 20s.
That's what I'm saying. But
Yeah,
like,
he's probably hitting about 30 now.
okay, so to be able to produce that, I mean, I don't know if he's maybe looking to retire and just get into production. I don't know if he wants to still wrestle, I'm trying to think if there's too many
Yeah,
guys
but
that
he's been wrestling for 15 years easily. He's like since an early teenager.
now I gotta look up his age. Wait, let me
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. But while you're looking that up, man, we are
32.
32. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. So I mean, listen, if he's gonna get pushed eventually, he's gonna they're gonna need to start moving on him because unbeknownst to us, Chad Gable's already 40 years old.
Wow.
Like, anyway, that's a whole nother topic for another day. But Chad Gable has pushed through everything that WWE's given him, and I would say his he broke the glass ceiling this
Mm.
past weekend. Him and Kaiser. Takes two to tango. Him and Kaiser, they broke the ceiling on Tuesday. What they do with those guys moving forward, WWE cannot mess this up. Chad Gable's got to be in the main event scene. He's got to be that dark, sinister heel that we saw on Saturday. And Ludwig Kaiser just got to keep doing his thing. I think Ludwig Kaiser, it is on my radar. We have a new little gimmick, and you guys are going to see this from time to time, by the way. Check this out. Radar Wayne,
Yes.
Radar Rivera. It is on my radar that more than likely um, El Grande Americano is going to challenge Dominic Mysterio for that Mega Heavyweight Championship at Triple Mania in either Las Vegas or Mexico City, whichever night they decide to do it on. But that's my radar prediction.
I love it. I think that is definitely the move, especially now after winning.
That is definitely the move. Absolutely, you gotta run in that direction. Moving on. What were your thoughts of Clash in Italy?
Um, I really like everything about it to me made no sense.
Ooh, do
So,
tell.
what is Backlash for but not tying up the loose ends at WrestleMania? So, what in the ever living hell is having all of these rematches at Clash in Italy? Just made no sense to me whatsoever. So, like, bringing Brock back, for me, it only made sense to do that as a way to get the crowd and a higher ticket and higher name. So that just kind of made sense to me.
Yeah.
Whatever. Having him win was weird, but I guess now we get SummerSlam, you know, or we will talk about what Ova
It
said
seems a little
after.
It seems a little convoluted. It's gonna get convoluted, especially if we want Oba to win King of the Ring, which we'll talk about a little later. But now you have the Brock Lesnar factoring in there too.
Correct. And also, as you have mentioned, and I absolutely agree, how does being a loser get you a title? Sol Ruka 0-2 gets a title chance and then gets the title. How does that make sense?
I don't like it.
Yeah, no.
Will she be a good Intercontinental Champion? Maybe, probably. And she did have good matches and was losing effort, but she did not. She basically lost her way into the title match, so it doesn't make sense. Um, but so you had that. Cody Rhodes defeating Gunther. You know we're getting a return match there. I would expect some kind of announcement this Friday as Gunther's foot was under the rope and the referee should have never counted the three.
Right. And that's
So
another
that's easily
trope.
setting up another match.
Like WWE does that at least once a month.
I'm
Actually, they
I'm
haven't
o-
used it in a while,
I'm
so
okay with that to further prolong the story.
right.
I'm okay with that ending. But that match kind of went just a little shorter than I would have expected. So,
Yeah. Did we miss anything?
Rhea versus Jade. Rhea had a really good outing. Jade had her best outing, in my opinion, that
Yeah.
she's had, and that Rhea Jade match was better than their WrestleMania match. But
Rhea is
the
definitely a carrier of a lot of matches that she is in.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
no,
was good.
more than likely, Rhea's the one that calls all the spots in the ring, like
Oh
kind
yeah.
of cute being along with the referee and stuff like that. So,
Speaking
um,
of, that happened a
yeah,
lot in the Becky versus Soul, and Soul has been in the wrong way, in the wrong direction, like 3 times now.
Mm,
Or the leg drop, the elbow, like she's always laying the wrong direction for Becky.
yeah. I mean, she's definitely green. She's definitely green for sure. I mean, not as green as Maxine, but Soul is still a little green, and they're trying to hide the weaknesses on here. I can tell. And she has a good look. And she's got a nice personality too. So they figure based off of that, WWE's gonna, fans are gonna like her. But anyway, that's Clash of Italy. Decent pay per view, good wrestling matches all the way around. This is going to basically lead into the match we didn't talk about. Roman Reigns defeating Jacob Fatu.
Yes.
There were some rumors going into this weekend that Jacob Fatu was potentially hurt. Neither have been. I looked at some reputable websites like tpww.net with Mike Johnson, Fightful. None of them confirmed that Jacob Fatu was in fact injured. Um, it was presumed or assumed that maybe he might be, but that also the possibility that he very well could have just been selling kayfabe in injury. So the dirt sheets got wind of all this and decided to make a story out of it, try to start a rumor that Jacob Fatu might not be able to wrestle, and that there was a backup plan, possibly to have Drew McIntyre. But again, none of that's true. I think there's a lot of people just kind of throwing out clickbait on the IWC right now, and just to try to get likes and clicks. So honestly, if WWE themselves don't announce it, if there's no match change or anything like that, I would never buy into it. Unless somebody like Mike Johnson or Sean Ross Sapp, John Alba, they report that this in fact is concrete, he's injured, we will not be there, then great, I'll believe it. But other than that, you can't believe much that the IWC is talking about right now. In sports, especially Sports Kita, Sports Kita, you know how I feel about them, the worst. Anyway, moving on. That leads us to a Monday Night Raw, where we see the aftermath, no pun intended. We see the aftermath of the Jacob Fatu losing to Roman Reigns last night, which opened up the segment for Monday Night Raw. We see Jacob acknowledging Roman Reigns. Jacob Fatu basically was having little quick words with Jey Uso, because Jey Uso was definitely instigating Fatu. But in the end, we see Jacob Fatu bow down and reach out his hand. And right before they leave ringside to end the segment, in Bloodline tradition, we see uh, Roman Reigns, the Usos, and Jacob Fatu pointing their fingers in the air. This was some pretty good cinema, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I wanted to see how this was gonna pan out. A very good first segment here, and then you see Jacob Fatu, um, right in front of our eyes, basically adjusting to the fact, like, oh crap, I'm Bloodline now. So, what did you think of this booking decision that we got with Jacob Fatu joining the Bloodline?
Yeah, I did not expect them to go in that direction at all. I understood. I figured that he would just kind of acknowledge him, and then Roman's music would play, and Roman would walk out, and that would kind of be it. I was also expecting Jacob to attack Jay, or Jay to attack Jacob. I was not expecting just kind of like you said, face like a face realization, like oh shit, I'm part of the bloodline now. Like the bloodline is back, and basically Jacob replaced Solo.
And did you see backstage? There was this backstage segment. I don't know when it happened. I believe it was probably after um, the night Clash of Champion happened, and Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns were like face to face, not really having a good eye exchange at each other. Then Cody just walked away, so I'm not too sure if they're planting seeds there. But we saw on Sunday night at Clash in Italy that when Jacob Fatu was following Roman Reigns and the Usos to go backstage after Roman Reigns had defeated Jacob Fatu, we see Solo Sikoa in the corner on the hard cam side, flanked by Tonga, and the other guy. I get him confused at this point. Tonga Loa, no, not Tonga Loa.
Maybe. No.
Tamba Tonga and
Right.
Tala Tonga.
Tala is taller.
Tala and then Tama.
It's because they just call the tall guy tall. Because
Yeah,
why not?
the Tongas. We see Solo and the Tongas right behind Solo, and they're both looking at Jacob Fatu. So, and obviously Jacob Fatu is part of the Bloodline now. So, where do you think we go with there? I have a feeling it is on my radar.
There it is.
It is. It is on my radar that I think we're finally gonna get Zilla Fatu to quite possibly join MFT to even up the sides, and then they have their feuds over the summer, leading to possibly a long feud going into Survivor Series. What do you think? Could this
I
be
like
a
it.
thing?
I like it. I could see it. We're missing. Yeah, we're definitely missing a few brothers and cousins across the way. And
Yeah, but you know, some of those that were just released, they were kind of like, honestly, they were the dead weight.
yeah,
They were the dead weight. So if you're replacing 2 for 1 with Zilla Fatu replacing JC Mateo and Tungaloa, I think that's a really good trade off. And I have a feeling they're going to even up the sides there
I
at
like
some
it.
point.
Some point,
I think this summer we see Zilla Fatu for sure. But
I like it.
And Monday Night Raw kicked off the WWE King of the Ring tournament. We had the women's King of the Ring quarterfinal. Julia, she looked, really good in her kind of like sort of repackaged her appearance close to what her NXT looked like. She went back to the blonde hair and cut her hair a little shorter. She looked pretty good there. Julia versus Roxanne Perez, whom I thought was going to be the favorite to win this, versus Sky, and Lash Legend. Io wins with the moonsault, and onto Julia. Julia eats the pin. Io wins. Um, what did you think of this? And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Roxanne was in a quick promo backstage with Liv Morgan. Maybe she was frustrated or something. If maybe you could also touch light on that, if you happen to remember what that is.
I unfortunately don't think I caught that. I
Yeah, it
think,
was
like I
towards
said,
the end. Like
I
there was
was
some
fading, falling
frustration.
asleep. Yeah, I didn't really see much of that.
Believe it or not, I actually fell asleep because I was watching it at a late hour. I fell asleep a little bit. Um, Let me see. Yeah, last night I fell asleep a little bit as I was watching it, and I had to rewind it and kind of rewatch it again. Um, but no, I rewatched it again this morning. But yeah, apparently this friction with Roxanne, I don't know if it was just her frustration of losing or friction in Judgment Day. I'd have to take a look at that.
Mhm.
But Io is the winner. So what we basically got here in the women's bracket, um, let me see here if I can see. Uh, so
EO's top right.
Yep, Io's top right. Okay, and then we have Bailey, um, Raquel Rodriguez, JC Jane, and Kiana James in the bottom right hand corner, which I believe we get JC Jane possibly winning, or Kiana James. I think a heel is going to come out of that in the bottom right hand corner to advance. I'm not too sure if any one of those will get by Io Sky. I think I have Io Sky in the finals. And then the top left you have Morgan, Lynch, Bliss, and Green still to go. I have a feeling Becky Lynch might win that one, and then you got a Sol Ruka, Valkyra, Charlotte, and is that Jade Cargill? I see. I
Yes.
mean, that is okay. So I'm gonna remove that banner so people can see that a little better. So I would say we're probably gonna get Lynch and Charlotte Flair in the next round. If I have to guess, that would be a great first round matchup. And we'll get Io Sky obviously, and listen, maybe do a fan favorite match. Do Io versus Bailey. Why not? That would add a lot more intrigue, actually. You know. So we have that going on right now. So Io's the first one to advance. The women's um, tournament will continue on Friday. So that being said, we also had the men's King of the Ring match as well. Um, let's see what we had. Okay, so that was really the first match. So second segment of the night, first match, we had Oba Femi. Unfortunately, took a loss on Sunday. I wasn't happy about that. Was not
Mhm.
happy because honestly, I wanted to see Oba Femi get the Brock Lesnar push, which I still think he is, but I wanted to see him get the Brock Lesnar push of Obafemi steamrolling everybody, get to the King of the Ring tournament, win a King of the Ring tournament, challenge for the belt at SummerSlam, and then win the belt, like Brock Lesnar's 2002. Although that could still be the plan, where Oba will win the King of the Ring and face the champion at SummerSlam, but you still have this Lesnar thing looming. So, first off, Obafemi still looks good in the midst of defeat on Sunday. They made him look good. How he popped out after that F5 through the table, he just popped right up and got back in the ring, like almost nothing happened. And it was really like, and Brock Lesnar opened up that match attacking Obafemi right before the bell, practically before the bell even rang. So 7 F5s Oba took. That's what it took to beat Oba. So as Brock Lesnar was leaving to go to the ring, you noticed Lesnar was actually doing Steiner math at first, like 1+1. Like what are you doing? What are you saying 1+1? And then what he really meant was 1 and 1. So that hinted to me and the wrestling universe, more than likely we're gonna get a rubber match at some point. Obafemi wins the match last night, defeating Penta, Carmelo, Hayes, and Solo Sikoa to advance to the semifinals of the King of the Ring. But then after that, we see Obafemi grab a microphone and saying, "Brock Lesnar, this isn't over, and we'll see you down the line." So after I just unpacked all that, Brandon, what do you think of the Oba story that we got up to this point last night?
Um, I'm glad that they are starting to at least make Oba look like a regular dude, but his whole finishing sequence was fantastic. Between the running slap and then slamming everybody, and then just the how are you throwing grown men just feet across the ring is just crazy to me. So I like what he said is what do you do after a beatdown? What do you do after an ass whooping? You come back and you stand tall and you keep winning. And he said, I'm still here. Like, that's awesome. Like, yeah, took 7 F5s and 24 hours later came back and beat 3 grown men. One of them that's already a champion as well. So, yeah, I still think that Oba gets a very big push. I just don't know. I don't know if he's the guy to challenge to win the King of the Ring now, because but I think that Brock finds a way to get like involved or something like that, and then we get SummerSlam. SummerSlam would be whoever challenges for King of the Ring, correct?
Yeah, so the King of the Ring tournament winner for both the men and women will challenge their champion at SummerSlam.
Yeah, so I feel like Brock would like interfere in Oba's match so that it would be Oba versus Brock at SummerSlam. And then I don't know. Can you pull the list up for me one more time, sir? I want to see if I can.
Yeah, let's pull the dudes up. Let's see
Yes,
here. Let
I
me
want to
see.
draw a conclusion on who else I think could win. Finn now getting traded to SmackDown definitely gives me Finn versus Cody vibes. That would be fine.
Well,
Uh,
do you think if you look at the bottom left hand bracket with Mysterio, Braun Breaker, Trick Williams, do you think they're gonna give us Obafemi versus Braun Breaker this soon?
no, I really liked Oba versus Trick because they have versed each other many a time in NXT. So I think now it would be like the two up and comers trying to be the king of the ring now. That would be great. I could also see Oba versus Priest because that's at least two 6'7" guys.
Hmm.
Or I mean, I think Priest is like 6'6" and Oba's 6'4", but still two big ass guys going up against each other. But yeah, I don't think you get Braun versus Oba just yet.
Yeah, I think that's like something that they're saving for like in their back pocket for a few years from now as a WrestleMania main event. My opinion.
And then I'm trying to see who you get come out.
I mean, I think you get Seth Rollins coming out of the top bracket first of all. I have a feeling if it's not Oba, it's Seth winning this because they've planted seeds with Seth and Roman a couple times.
Yeah, that is true. And now, then I feel like you get LA Knight, and then LA Knight versus Seth Rollins would be a very good match. And then I feel like Trick Williams versus Oba would be great. And then Seth versus Oba, and Seth puts Oba over. That would be cool.
Yeah. I mean, if Oba wins this tournament, he would have to go on and win a SummerSlam. I would think.
And then I do like Seth versus. And see, that would also be a pretty good teaser of Seth can tease against Cody and against Roman for a little bit, and then choose Roman.
Yeah, more than likely, I think the winners stay on their own brands.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I don't think it's anything like Money in the Bank where they just choose their champion. Royal Rumble they choose their champion. I think King of the Ring. I think they're gonna stick with their own brands. So it would. I think it would be obviously Seth versus Roman. Obafemi versus Roman maybe. You could do. Let me see if it's a SmackDown guy that'd be winning. I really don't have anybody from SmackDown. I think the clear favorites here are definitely it's definitely gonna be a Raw guy for sure.
and
I,
you like them taking on Roman. Okay,
yeah, yeah. I think it's gonna be a Raw guy. I think it's safe to say it's gonna be a Raw guy that's gonna be it because I'm looking at it. And, like all the top stars are on Raw. To be honest, I don't see Royce Keys. Maybe Royce Keys gets to the semifinals. I think that could be a safe. Yeah, I could see Keys going against Seth Rollins, and then I can see Oba. I guess maybe going against Breaker, and then Brock Lesnar interferes, and we don't get that clear winner, and then we run it back between Seth and Braun Breaker, and then Seth wins.
hmm.
I don't think we get to Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns now. Not even close. Probably next year.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But that is my radar predictions for WWE King of the Ring tournament, which will be on Raw and SmackDown every single week. So, but anyhow, let's move on. Oh, let me see. Okay, we got two more
Only,
topics left.
yeah, I was gonna say
Two
only
more
one more
topics left.
match, two more else. Yep.
Um, but for those of you guys that are watching, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. That'll help us out. We are also sponsored by backsportspage.com. So check them out, www.backsportspage.com, for all any wrestling news, New York Giants, New York sports, their podcast, their YouTube, their Cutthroat Pro Wrestling podcast, and of course the Aftermath Pro Wrestling podcast, all on backsportspage.com. Be sure to check them out. Moving on. So, this is why we may not even get Seth Rollins versus Bron Breakerr um, during the King of the Ring tournament, because Seth Rollins, as you remember, challenged Bron Breakerr 2 weeks ago. And sure enough, they gave us that match last night for Italy. What did you think of this match?
That was another good match. I feel like both guys are settling in nicely from injury.
Injuries, yeah.
So yeah, I think they both look back and at prime health. And I did see a couple of moves where I thought Braun was going to go a completely different direction, and he ended up pulling off a different move, and I was like, all right, I'll take that. Like he went his run, and then instead of the run into the spear, he went into like a flying elbow, and I was like, what the frick was that?
Mm,
But I think maybe just trying to protect the spear a little bit, which is fine. And I think also trying to protect himself a little bit, which is fine.
yeah.
Because like he's been missing a few of those spears lately. So yeah, I think maybe they're trying to protect that move, which is smart, you know? Find out other ways to do something crazy with that running, move across the outside. So now maybe we'll see like a 360 or like a torpedo or a torpedo elbow or like a clothesline or something along the lines where he protects his spear. But other than that, yeah, I think they both look back to be in good shape. And we saw a very smart move by Seth. Uses the belt to overt
Yes.
the spear and kind of dazed, if not almost knocked out Braun. So I guess he kind of caught him on the head, and yeah, was able to get the stomp and the win. So smart move, grabbing the belt and using that as a spear version. I trying to think back if I've ever seen that before. I feel like John Cena might have done that against Edge a little bit back, and then I don't know if it's been used against Roman or Batista in the last 10-15 years that they've had belts.
Did you see the spot where Seth and Paul Heyman were arguing, and then Seth sidesteps as Braun is charging Seth? Seth sidesteps, and Braun Breaker accidentally puts Heyman through the barricade.
No, I didn't catch that. Dang it! I'm
Yeah,
gonna have to look back.
that did happen. That did happen, and then that was actually just before Braun Breaker got knocked out by spearing Seth Rollins when Seth Rollins had the belt on, which knocked out Braun Breaker, and Seth Rollins gets the win. So after we saw this match, this is pretty much what pretty much screams to me that more than likely we may not get Seth versus Braun Breaker. So maybe they can, do something like pulling back up the men's tournament really quick. The bracket here, um, more than likely in that bottom we could get like, you never know. Maybe we get Seth Rollins versus Trick Williams, or maybe we'll get Oba versus Trick. Who knows what they're gonna do there? I guess we'll find out. I don't know if they want to run back Seth versus Braun. Um, but again, that would come at the cost of Obafemi losing when Brock Lesnar comes out and runs interference. That would be the way to get Braun Breaker over. I don't know if you want to give um, Seth Braun Obafemi 2 losses in 3 weeks, though. That's the only problem that I have with that. So maybe they do run back Braun Breaker versus Oba for the title. Um, after the SummerSlam season's over, any possibility they could do that?
Hmm.
Like, why does it have to be SummerSlam? Why does it have to be? Well, Night of Champions is the King of the Ring finals, so you're not gonna run back Alba versus Brock Lesnar there. unless Obafemi gets to the King of the Ring finals, Brock Lesnar costs Obafemi there, and maybe Obafemi gets counted out or something, and then that's where we get the challenge. I don't know if you remember during WrestleMania season, it was after night 2, and Oba had a really good match. He defeated Brock Lesnar, and then the fans are chanting Oba when Roman Reigns was out in an interview outside the stadium. And Roman Reigns is like, Oba for me, let's just see how you do this summer, and then we'll talk and see if you're ready for a title match. So that also could be a hint to me that they're probably just going to go throughout the whole entire summer and see how Oba does through the summer season before they maybe start making plans for a title push. Somebody was posting rumors that it could be Oba versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 43. So honestly, there's lots of speculation, but we're gonna have to write it out and see. There's a couple directions it could possibly go with Oba. Oba could win King of the Ring and face Roman Reigns and win the title there, and then maybe we see Brock Lesnar challenge Oba. Maybe we do career for title. We could do something like that. But it just all depends on what they want to do. I think it's best if Oba wins King of the Ring and goes to SummerSlam.
Huh. Okay.
But
Okay.
We'll see. And last but not least, rumors have it that Kevin Owens could be returning during the end of this month in June. A lot of people are posting about it. And it's been consistent amongst a couple different websites posting that Kevin Owens could be due for a return by the end of this month.
Well,
Which means if that is the case, one could believe that we see Kevin Owens, I would think, be slated to return during Night of Champions?
Maybe. Probably.
Right? Because Night of Champions, I think, is the last Sunday this month, June 28th, if I'm not mistaken. And that is the end of June. Unless he comes out to Raw. I think Raw was mentioned, too, which is the next day as well. So, we will have to see that. Brandon, before we go off the air today, any last minute comments or anything you may want to touch on before we go off the air?
I think there was one other match we didn't talk about much. It was the tag match. All Ego and Rusev versus Ray.
Yeah, not really a whole lot going on there.
Ray
Not much
comes
to
out
talk
with a
about.
619 and a win.
Good match. Rey Mysterio was over, though. Did you
Yes.
see the camera shake?
No, I missed it. Well,
Yeah, so
I probably saw it in the moment, but not remembering.
During the Rey Mysterio match, when Ray was tagged in, the camera was shaking because the arena was shaking.
Wow.
So there was a lot of shaking going on. So that stadium was 100% behind Rey Mysterio last night.
I didn't know he was so favored in Italy.
And on top of that, a match was granted that we're going to see Rey Mysterio versus Penta for the Intercontinental Championship down the line.
Yeah, that should definitely be a Night of Champions.
I would say Night of Champions, right? I wouldn't give that away on Raw.
No.
No, I mean,
especially
maybe Saturday night's main event at the Garden.
Where is Night of Champions this year?
I think Saudi.
It is in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, it's going to Rey Mysterio.
Riyadh.
I remember Ray in Saudi, and a lot of people like him there too. So
Saudi's getting too many shows.
Yeah. Well, it will be the 12th Night of Champions, and I think this is the second time the Night of Champions is in Saudi Arabia. So it's not that they're getting too many shows. It's just like it sounds like they're getting annual shows. So like Night of Champions will probably stay at Riyadh for the next 2 years.
You know what I was thinking? More than likely, we saw Cody Rhodes, and just a little side note, we saw Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns cross paths and look at each other, and not so much. They certainly didn't exchange pleasantries, that's for sure.
Right.
As it stands now, if both Cody and Roman Reigns are champion by November, they will face off one-on-one, to see who the Crown Jewel champion is going to be.
Oh, true.
So we could get another Roman versus Cody match, and it seems like they're planting the seeds for that somewhere down the line.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. But I can almost call that. That's very well could be it. But we'll have to see. But as it stands now, if Roman were to make it into the fall season, I would expect Roman versus Cody for the Crown Jewel Championship. So.
Mm-hmm.
What else you got? You got anything else?
No, that's it. LA Knight is upset at Adam Pearce for being the fourth member of the Bloodline, apparently. But that's really it. A lot of people are, and I like all your wrestling chat and everything. I do see a lot of people are interested to see LA Knight have something happen. So honestly, now with that, I think LA Knight is gonna be the winner of his match for the Night of Champions, or for King of the Ring, I should say.
And then have Seth versus LA Knight.
Probably, yeah.
That could be very interesting.
Because then that at least creates a story. That would be a good match. You can have face versus face is fine. And I still think that if you have LA Knight come out of that, why not? Like LA versus Roman, that would be a fantastic match. So
yeah, but they're not gonna put LA Knight over.
I know it sucks. He deserves it, but
I'm gonna tell you this much: if LA Knight gets and wins the King of the Ring, I am gonna try to get the LA Knight girl to come onto our show.
That would be great. We'd have to
on a Tuesday night, just for a segment to talk about LA Knight.
Hell yeah!
So
whenever he gets put over, I think we have to definitely reach out regardless.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna get LA Knight girl. I met her in Vegas. Her and her friends. I happened to bump into her, exchange pleasantries, and what have you. So I'm definitely gonna try to get her on our show because she's the biggest LA Knight fan. We're gonna need to hear what she has to say about all this, especially as we get deeper into the King of the Ring tournament. Anyway, it is 11 o'clock Eastern time in New York, and obviously Brandon, aka Bash, we share the same state, so you are feeling the same thing. I am feeling pretty tired, but those of you guys that are watching, we will be back with Raw post show next week. Do we have any Raw shows coming up this weekend except for SmackDown? I don't think so. I feel like almost every single weekend there's some kind of pay-per-view or main event going on. But anyway, we will be back next Tuesday to talk the weekend in wrestling and Monday Night Raw. And we will also be back next Wednesday. Me and the Shiv and possibly Doug will be back next Wednesday to talk AEW. And then, before you know, we're halfway into June, man. It is going to go by quick. King of the Ring tournament will wrap up the end of this month, and then we're right into SummerSlam. So we're getting into a nice busy season. But Brandon, thank you so much for hopping on tonight, and those of you guys that are watching, thank you so much. And stay tuned for our shorts that come out of our shows. We'll be posting them all week long, and we will be back live next Tuesday. Catch you guys later.
Agility from the champion. Oh, G6! That could be it. Delivered this deep